And we are back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the POPcast. What's up, everybody?
Hey, guys. How are you?
You guys
Everything's
Finally, I can smoke, man.
Vigi's got something to say.
Finally, I can smoke.
Did you have something to say, Vigi?
About what? Hey, no, so much.
You are looking really nice, though,
You guys
Nani.
are stressing me.
We can compliment you.
Thank you.
No
Awesome
doubt.
stuff,
Thank
man.
you.
Welcome to the show, guys. Getting straight into business. I want to talk about how I think South African hip-hop is going nowhere very slowly. I was at a gig this past weekend, and I was sad. I was really, really sad to be at that gig because there was not one hip-hop artist in the building unless they were performing. I didn't see any people who are sort of part of the culture. And for me, it was like, if a big artist is not able to, have backing and support from peers, people he's been with in the game for many, many years, then I think there's a very, very big problem. There's a very, very big problem. I think we need to go back to 2014, 15. I was speaking to Casper about this at football yesterday. We need to go back to stop trying to act cool, stop trying to have cliques or whatever. We actually need to stick together. Like now more than ever, it's important that we stick together. And I had a conversation with Ricky, funny enough, prior to when I came here. Before I came here. And we were just speaking about how when we were really, because we were speaking about how when we had big shows, we always go, I think we've had this conversation where we, as DJs, will always go back to the 2014, 15 era where we play Bozonke, Sorimake, Special Somebody, Way Up, Yaya, Kara Kara, All Eyes on Me, etc., etc. And when we were doing that, we were doing really, really well from 95 BPM to 100 BPM. We then got too cool and we started going a bit of trappish, a bit of a different direction. But when we were going that different direction, we weren't adding vernac to our stuff. We were trying to sound too American. Myself, guilty as charged, Ricky was saying to me, he's like, it's so funny how none of these new guys have actually came to me and said, hey, Ricky, can I please get a vernac verse?
Everybody wants an English verse.
Everybody wants an English verse. Nobody's asking him for a vernac verse. So I think we need to go back to that 95 BPM and upwards because it's kupu. We can all relate to it and stick together. It's important right now.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky time right now, and I kind of share your sentiments with regards to what you mentioned about hip-hop being a bit weird. I find the same experiences as well when I'm playing, not necessarily going to an event that's hosted by somebody, where I'll get to an event and obviously everybody's busy going down. It's my piano, then Gqom, then whatever else is playing. The moment hip-hop kind of comes on, people are just like, okay, cool. Maybe the hip-hop fans will still kind of scream and shout, but then a lot of people kind of take that as their rest hour.
Yeah.
And then the moment they even hear just the first beat of a house song, it doesn't matter if it's my piano, Gqom, whatever, they just say, doong, doong, doong. Everyone's like, yes. And I'm like, but what was happening for the past hour? Are you guys not vibing? What's the story? You can play as many new songs as you want. People will still feel some other type of way. And it's also kind of difficult because it's as if the hits weren't transcending this past year. You know what I mean? Which also kind of brings us back maybe to AKA's tweets where he was arrogant enough to say that these guys have been chilling for the past year and I need to come in and save them. I think maybe he's kind of running on that sentiment that he feels that there weren't that many hip-hop hits this year for us to kind of carry us throughout the year. And you're right, I also feel that we probably need to get back to that Scoopoo sound of getting back to the 95 to 100 because that's where we were making more locally sounding type of songs. But yeah, it's a struggle and we're dying slowly, guys.
My question is this, is hip-hop cool for you guys?
It's always been cool.
Cool as in how? Is it cool? Is it something that yo, this is us. This is what I resonate with right now.
Okay.
Can I relate to it right now?
But that's why we're here, Vigi.
No, but for me, I'm asking you guys, right?
Maybe elaborate on what your question is.
My thing was with hip-hop, right? And it goes back to its Scoopoo sound, it being sounding familiar. Okay, cool. Scoopoo sound because it was familiar, it's what was happening then. Everyone rode the wave and did it. I don't think right now the guys are too cool for people. I think right now when I listen to it, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want to listen to it. I'm on to the next one. And even when I'm playing, you find myself like, cool, let me go back and play those, and I'll get more response for playing all the shit,
well.
right?
Yeah.
Because they were like, oh, this is our shit, this is our vibe, right? Whereas right now, maybe we are too cool, maybe we don't actually relate to what the normal person is like, oh shit, this is actually how I feel right now. And we're not supportive.
But as musicians and as producers, as DJs, we're supposed to be creating that energy. We're supposed to be creating that vibe. And at the end of the day, it's not necessarily about saying, okay, we're in a room now, let me read the room. Okay, I need to play old music because this is the only thing that's gonna work. We need to still get back to that job of being the creators and setting the tone.
Dimples posted the other day, he said, we need to drop as DJs because, I mean, even us as DJs, we've been slacking.
That's another thing.
We need to release.
Back in the days, that was one thing that did spike up the listening, because you guys had these features that were thought of but never happened, but then you guys made them happen, and the sounds that you made those days were really, really dope. And I will agree with you, like, you guys need to get back to that, making the music.
I think it's also a part of, I can't separate the next man from the next other DJ.
And also when we say you guys, sorry, Scoop, we're saying DJs.
No, DJs, yeah, different,
general,
definitely.
You know?
And also on the subject of the sound, I think there's like a Red Sea, and there's like a parting of the Red Sea, where it's the older generation who grew up on Kwaito, who knows that that is the sound that made us knock back then. It made us rise to some sort of acceptance and cheer when we had those sounds, because we grew up with that sound. I think there's a definite gap where the new generation didn't.
Yeah.
And I really can't blame them for that. And I don't want to sound like the old heads as a statesy, because they went through this transition, so Little Pump and whatever you have you. And also us here at home, I'm not saying we have Little Pumps, but we definitely have kids that are more influenced by the American sound than they are by our Kwaito sound, because they weren't there. And we can't blame them for that. You know what I'm saying? Is it a time for maybe letting everything live? But I think as the custodians of that sound and people who grew up in that era, it is the jobs of the artists that had hits in that era, that grew up with that sound, to make it happen again. I think KO is trying to do it now, seeing him going back to Unandi Mngoma, and then and seeing how that track hit. Questa, I'm hoping
he's about to drop as well.
Questa's in studio at the moment, so
I'm hoping he's gonna drop something on that effect. And also this guy that I'm wearing, Malum Coquette, I think might be able to save that sound.
So my thing is this, right? And Scoop, I always actually saw it. Well, for me, this is it. The kids that are post the whole Kwaito era, they can't relate to the Kwaito sound, right? That's me, right? And music for me is energy. It's delivering what energy, you talking about what you've experienced and what people, you telling stories or what people are going through. That's my only issue with hip hop. I feel like some of the songs I listen to, I'm like, doesn't really translate what's happening now. Where as you hear Amapiano, I won't say the words, you know what I mean? But like, it's like, oh shit, it's the shit that happens right now. It's straightforward, it's street culture, it's what's been spoken about in the streets, right? And where you go back and you listen to our hip hop, you're like, yeah, maybe you're appealing to a kid in Brooklyn, right? But you're not appealing to the kids here. You know what I mean? And it's not a place, I don't blame them, it's not a place good, I want to box myself in SA only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But maybe do tell your story somehow and relate to, because every place has a ghetto.
Like Ricky was saying to me, he's like, bro, just to show you that the music isn't relatable anymore. He was like, yo man, back then, we were 2 years in the game, you got 2 hits, you coming out in the Merc, you're buying a crib now, you know? But these guys, it's taking a bit of a long time, you know? It just goes to show that it's not connecting.
Yeah.
Do they talk about drug problems, these kids? Because I feel like maybe a lot of them, you spoke about this the last time, the way they look. Do they talk about that shit in their raps? Or do they floss about,
they do. A lot of them are going through this whole drug, emo kid, depression vibe or whatever, and that's what they kind of relating to, like the XXX Tentacion type of vibe.
Sure.
And it's okay because you understand where they get the relatability from, because those are the hot kids in the States right now. So those are the people they're listening to. That's the type of music that they're making right now, which is okay because it is the kind of the new wave. My only issue with it is that there comes then a bit of a there comes a bit of a disconnect with regards to, okay, fine, that's the American sound. You're trying to bring it back to South A, but we don't feel you because where's the relatability, you know? And that's where someone like an MT comes in, because that's how MT then brought it back.
I love
He
MT,
was giving
man.
us American sounding trap,
But
doing it in Zulu, so everyone related to
Because
that.
MT could tell you the story, Guti Benshale back room, or mama has got a job.
Mananto.
You know what I mean? Single parent. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like a single parent raising me up, and that's the hustle. That's what most of these kids go through.